Hey guys, so welcome back to another episode of the Sober Spartan podcast with me, Andrew Nichols, your host. And so I'm doing something a little bit different this time. I kind of wanted to test out how doing a presentation worked and seeing what you guys thought about it. So if you do like this presentation style over a talking head or whatever, then just let me know. Because right now my idea is I'll do a mix of them, but if you like presentations more, then obviously I'm going to do that. So just let me know. But I want to hop into this. So um, what I'm going to be talking about today is understanding your why and setting SMART goals. So I think these two things are going to be really helpful for people who don't really know where to get started in their sobriety journey or have been trying to get sober for some period of time, but haven't quite been able to make it stick. So today we're going to be focusing on two different things. And so number one will be understanding your personal reasons for wanting to get sober in the first place, and then what SMART goals are and how they can help you create a clear roadmap for your life and kind of help you on your journey in sobriety. So understanding your personal reasons for wanting to get sober. I think that knowing your why for why you want to get sober will give you a lot of motivation and purpose to stay committed to your journey because just like most things in life that are worth doing, they're not easy. And so getting sober is one of those things. And you can see that in the numbers, like how many people don't stay sober, and how many times it usually takes somebody to get sober. So if you've been kind of in and out, not able to make your sobriety stick, don't worry about it. Like that's pretty commonplace. I mean, it took me about 4 times of actually trying to get sober before I was able to make it stick myself. And I would say I'm on the lower end because a lot of the people that I've talked to in recovery, it's taken them so many times. So if you haven't been able to make it stick yet, all the best advice I can give you is just keep going. And you're listening to this podcast already, so that means that you want to make a change. And smart people do that. Smart people seek out information and um, to put themselves into better positions to succeed. And so that's what you're doing. So I just want to say kudos to you. That's what smart people do. So another piece of that is you can listen to all this stuff in the world, but what I'm really big on is taking action. So make sure you take action on some of this stuff that I'm going through here today. So what I'm going to want you to do, this is the first like exercise to kind of get you going and thinking about your why, is spend a little bit of time today reflecting on why you wanted to get sober in the first place. So I put a couple questions together to kind of guide you through thinking about coming up with your why. And so first question is, what is the main reason? What are the main reasons you want to get sober? And so the way I'd go about this is you're going to want to get yourself like a physical notebook. You can use a digital one. I personally like using a physical one for stuff like this, but you can definitely, whatever you're more comfortable with, as long as you're taking action and able to write something down. But what I would do is more like a brain dump. Like don't make it look neat, don't make it look nice, just whatever comes to your mind when you hear these questions, and then you write them all down. And you just make as many things that just fire them off right away. And you can always come back and like fine tune it, but just get stuff out of your mind, right? So the first question is, what are the main reasons you want to get sober? And just fire it off. It's like, oh, I'm in big debt. My health is on decline. I'm about to lose my job. My wife's going to leave me. My kids, um, I'm not paying it close enough attention to my kids. Whatever it is for you that has you kind of wanting to get sober. And then question number two, how will your life improve if you achieve sobriety? So same thing, just bullet off a bunch of different things, but like just remember like this is your life and this is a big change to decide to get sober. So don't just quickly answer the questions to try to breeze through them. Actually spend some time thinking. Like if you can't come up with something, come back to the question, but like completely get rid of all the distractions, get into a quiet room and spend some time on this, because you're going to get a lot of benefit, and you're going to be able to fast track how many times you actually try to get sober if you use stuff like this. Like, it doesn't even sound like it, like these type of things will work. And you might even be thinking in your head, like, I've tried everything, I can't get it to work. But you have to put in the work consistently over time. So make sure that you're actually thinking about this stuff, okay? And so question number 3 is, how will your relationships improve? Again, because like I was just thinking back to when I was drinking, and just before I got sober, my relationships were in ruins, and I was pushing people away, left, right, and center. So actually stopping and thinking like, hey, how can I improve some of these relationships that I've been damaging through my drinking? Because that tends to happen when you drink in excess, like to excess. You start to say dumb shit, do things you wouldn't otherwise do, all that kind of stuff. So definitely think a lot about your relationships and how they will improve if you stop drinking. Next question number 4. What are your biggest fears about staying sober? And so for me, one of my biggest fears, and it was like something that almost like stopped me from actually pursuing it. But at the time, all my friends and all my family and everything like that, everyone was drinking. So like, I didn't want to feel like I'd be like the black sheep, or I wouldn't be fun to hang out with, or whatever. Right. And some of those things were in the back of my mind. And then I almost like didn't go ahead and start heading down the path of becoming sober. So if that's you and you have some fears, like be real with yourself and just write them all down, and just so you have them there and you know what kind of things you're going to be coming up against. Okay. So number 5, what motivates you to stay committed to sobriety? Again, you talk a bit about what your motivations are, whether it's your family, friends, your health, all that kind of stuff, right? Just list it down, as many as you can come up with. And the last one, and I think this is the most powerful one, um, question number 6, what are the consequences of not staying sober? So a lot of the times when I'm talking to somebody, they haven't really sat down and like literally contemplated the consequences of not going ahead and taking action or making a change they need to make. So in this case, we're talking about sobriety, right? But this can work for many other things too. A lot of times, I mean, we don't think of the consequences of not taking action, right? So for this, sit down and really think, like, if you're going down the same path and you don't make a change, what kind of problems are going to be coming up for you? What kind of problems are you seeing now that can just get worse over time? Because like, you could say like, oh, I'll just get sober next month or something like that, you know? And then it's like, but your problems are going to continue to compound in that time, right? So this is a really powerful question. I would spend some time on this one. But yeah, like I said, I haven't seen many people actually consider consequences of not taking action. So I think that'll be powerful. So the next thing we'll cover here are SMART goals. And so SMART, that's an acronym, and it's a framework for how to set good goals, like better goals. Okay, so you've probably heard about this. This is really, really famous framework. So the S stands for specific. Clearly define what you want to achieve. M, measurable. Determine how you will measure your progress. A, achievable. Ensure your goal is realistic and attainable. R, relevant. Make sure your goal is relevant to what you're looking to achieve. T, time bound. Set a time frame for achieving your goal. And so if you're able to learn this framework and set goals for yourself, you can create a really clear roadmap for the different things that you're trying to work towards in your life. And so sobriety would be one of those things. And I think like it's really important to set goals or targets, if you will, because if you don't have a target to aim at, you're never going to hit anything, right? Because if you're just shooting randomly off into the distance, then I mean, you're just hoping at that point. And you know what they say about hoping: hope in one hand and shit in the other, and see which one fills first. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you have really specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. And so going forward, I put together some examples of different goals. And so I just want to preface this before I get into them. These are just examples, right? So this is more so you can get a general overview of like how you might go about using this framework to set goals for yourself. So if you're seeing numbers, anything like that, don't take it to heart. Don't think like, oh, those are like goals that are way too big for me, whatever. These are just examples so you can see how the framework works. And then so you can implement it for yourself. And then another thing to note before we get into those examples is setting goals is a skill. Okay. And so with any skill, you're not going to be good right off the bat. So you're going to want to just keep that in mind and just realize that you're going to have to work at it a bit before, you get really good at setting goals for yourself. So don't let that stop you. And if you're having trouble with this, like at the very least, I would say set a goal. Like this framework for me just helped me make goals that much better. But if it's a sticking point for you, then just set a broad goal. Okay. So we'll go through these. So the first example is a sobriety goal. So the example goal here would be maintain sobriety for 90 days. Specific, I will not drink for 90 days. Measurable, I will track my sobriety daily through marking each day on a calendar and maintaining a sobriety journal. Achievable, I will utilize support systems such as AA meetings, counseling, and my support network to stay committed. Or relevant, achieving 90 days of sobriety will help me establish a strong foundation for long-term recovery and improve my overall well-being. Lastly, T time bound. I will start this goal today and aim to achieve 90 days of sobriety by, and then 90 days later from whenever you start. And so the SMART goal statement would end up looking like starting today's date. I will maintain sobriety for the next 90 days, utilizing support systems such as AA meetings, counseling, and my support network, and track my progress each day with a calendar and sobriety journal. So that's example number one. Example number two, and this one's just a personal goal. I chose health and fitness just again for an example. And so the example goal here would be improve my physical fitness by running. And so specific, I will run for at least 30 minutes 3 times a week. Make sure it's specific with time, 30 minutes 3 times a week. That's pretty specific. You can clearly see that. Measurable, I will track my runs through using a running app to record the duration and distance of each run. Track, so that way you can improve, because what isn't tracked isn't improved. Achievable, I will start with a manageable pace and gradually increase my speed and distance as my fitness improved. Achievable, because if you just said, oh, I'm just gonna go balls to the walls and get a 4-minute mile right out the gate, then you're not gonna be able to do that, right? If you haven't been running in the past, right? So make sure it's achievable. Relevant, running regularly will improve my physical health, stamina, and overall well-being. Okay, well, I'd say that's pretty relevant for a personal health and fitness goal. Time bound, I will maintain this running routine for the next 12 weeks to build a solid habit. Okay, and that's what you want to do. You want to build the habit because that's the most important thing when you're trying something new is the actual the habit formation and actually showing up, right? That's more important than anything else is the habits that you build. So the SMART goal ends up being for the next 12 weeks, I will run for at least 30 minutes 3 times a week and track my progress using a running app to monitor my improvement in speed and distance. So there's an example there. And then the last example is a business goal. And so the example goal here is to start a side business. Specific, I will start a side business by launching an online store selling handmade crafts. That's pretty specific. Measurable. I will measure my progress by setting up the store, adding progress, and tracking my sales and customer feedback. Cool. We have something to measure. Achievable. I will dedicate 10 hours weekly to developing and managing my online stores, including product creation, website maintenance, and marketing. Okay, that's good. We can achieve that. And again, you're just on you. Say this was your goal and you couldn't commit to 10 hours weekly. What will you commit to? Make it something that you can achieve. Relevant. Starting this business will help me generate additional income to pursue my passion for crafting. I'd say that's relevant in the goal. And then time bound. I will launch my online store within the next 3 months to aim to make my first sale within the first month of launching. So the SMART goal statement here turns into within the next 3 months, I will start an online store selling handmade crafts, dedicating 10 hours a week to its development and management with the goal of making my first sale within the 1 month of launching. Okay, so those are 3 goals. And again, these are just examples. So you can just see how we're using the framework to come up with these goals. Because they're gonna, I think in the long run, if you're able to do this and you do this time and time again, you're gonna get really good at setting yourself goals that you can constantly knock out the park. And so, as I mentioned before, you can watch this till you're blue in the face, and until you're taking action steps, you're not going to be doing much with this. So we want to take action. And the first action step here is, okay, get your journal, anything you can use, whether it's digital or physical, that you can go out and write these questions down and then spend some time to go through them, and you can find your why. And then, that's like a fuel for you to push you through all the hard shit that you're going to come across with this. And I don't know why it's skipping by like that. So I have your questions here. You can pause it, write those down. But the important thing is take action on this. Okay. And so on to action step number 2, set 1 to 3 SMART goals and try to use the framework, to set yourself up with some goals. Like I said, if it's too overwhelming and it's too much, like you don't feel like you can, it's just a detriment to you and it's going to stop you from actually doing anything, then don't worry about it. Just set yourself a broad goal to start, and then you can implement these in this framework in later on once you start getting a feel of setting goals and stuff like that. So I would definitely use this framework when setting goals, but again, if it's going to stop you, then don't worry about it. So just go take action. Okay, so I've gave you a couple things here to go take action on it. I don't think it's too much. It'll take you a little bit of time, but I think it's going to help you quite a lot in the long run. But if you have any questions, anything like that, my contact details are in the show notes, my social media handles, my email, that kind of thing. So just feel free to reach out, ask me questions. And then again, just like comment or let me know what you think about this presentation style, if you want me to continue doing them or whatever. And then coming up, I'm going to be getting some guests on. So keep your eyes out for that. And I'll have some people on. We're going to kind of go through their stories, different shit that they went through, getting sober, kind of how their life was before, and then what their life was like after when they got sober, and then that kind of thing. So stay tuned for that, and appreciate you guys listening in, and I will see you on the next one.